Good afternoon. I'm Larry Kamer, and this is my channel, the Fly Tying Philosopher. Today I'm going to tie a prototypical Tenkara fly, the Sakasa Kabari. This has a forward-facing hackle, and videos that I've seen of the fly underwater are pretty amazing. There's a lot of movement. Looks like a very realistic insect, and may trigger fish to bite. We're going to start off with laying down some thread on the needle, and today this is a number 8, and I've already put down some thread. The thing that impresses me about Tenkara is that the control aspect of this is moved toward the fly, the business end of the whole aspect of fly fishing. And of course, there's a lot of control in fly fishing in general. The use of the rod, the line mending, and line control, of course, and matching the hatch with flies. But in Tenkara, the focus has been moved forward to the fly, and it's not a what would you say, a matching the hatch type of a fly issue. It's the movement and nature of the fly that hopefully triggers a bite response from the fish, and so it's been moved forward to the fly itself. And this fly today is going to have red thread, some peacock herl, a hen pheasant feather for hackle, and that's essentially it. So I'm laying down some thread, and I tend to make a built-up head at this point, and then add a feather. In this case, it's a hen pheasant feather, and I've seen both ways of tying in the this end of the feather and the tip of the feather, and I tend to like this one, and just gently lay that on there and tie it down nicely. And I trim off the tag end of that tip. Control is an issue, and it really comes up in philosophy, actually early on in the history of philosophy. I wanted to read you a quote from Epictetus. He lived between 60 and 138 AD. And he said, there is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of your will. He was followed almost contemporaneously by Marcus Aurelius, who lived between 121 and 180 AD. And his famous book is called Meditations. He said, you have the power over your own mind, not outside events. So I was thinking about control, and particularly a contemporary book about this, and it was by I.C. Robles, and it's called 7 Ideas to Live Your Life By. He said that his number one principle was to try to control what you can control and not control what you cannot control. Now that makes quite a bit of sense. But what's interesting is then he outlines what those what the things are that you can control and what you can't control. For instance, he says you can control your mind, your words, your actions, your emotions, um, and your relationships. Well, I guess I have some problems with that. You really can't control all of those things completely. Um, they're somewhat resistant to any form of intentional control on your part. Um, but you can respond to events in certain ways, and you can try to control your responses. Um, what's even more interesting is what he says is that you can't control. You can't control the consequences of your action. You can't control other people's emotions, their responses, their actions, their words. You can't control nature, and you can't control the universe, and you can't control the past, and you can't control the future. So those are significant aspects of not being able to control anything. So I was thinking about the consequences of all that. How many times do we try to control other people around us? Pretty often. It must be a wasted effort. So I've tied on the hackle and laying down some body. Next thing is hurl. I like to use about 3 strands from a hurl string. Clip off the ends. Tie this in. Clip off the tags. And then 3 or 4 wraps around the thorax. Tie that down. And then essentially a whip finish for the rest of it. Go down to the curve of the hook, the bend. Build this up a little bit. And then I think about control. And for instance, controlling things like, particularly other people. And we often, I think, are deluded into thinking that we have some control, and we try things. We try manipulative behaviors with other people and so forth. But there really isn't any control there. At this point, I'm going to whip finish this. I'm going to put a little head cement on the head. I like the ultraviolet setting glue, and put a little dab right here. I spread it around so that the head is kind of shiny, acts as a hot spot. And then set it with ultraviolet light. And that's about it. Nice looking fly. Doesn't take very much. Simple elements: thread, purl, hackle, hook, and looks very nice. I think it would be attractive. So those are my issues on control, and I like to think about the implications about, for instance, like not being able to control other people. So that really has an impact on relationships. And if we can't control those, then we spend a lot of time, we have a lot of efforts in trying to do that, and that may not be the best use of our time. So anyway, that is what I'm going to do today. Hopefully you'll subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Thanks a lot.